Hi, how are you doing? Last month, I read the original three Hunger Games books for the first time, and I thought it'd also be fun to show you my reaction to the movies for the first time. Because believe it or not, I also have never seen the movies, so I thought that would be fun. I do have to say this originally was gonna be a video for all four movies. I just finished editing the footage I have for the first two movies, so The Hunger Games and Catherine Fire. This video is already a long one, as you can tell, so if I double that it's gonna be too long for my taste. So I'm splitting them in two, which also is great for me because these past couple of weeks have been a bit more busy than I expected. So if I can give myself some more time to watch all of these movies, that'd be great. So I'd be able to get things up for you in time. I haven't done a come watch with me in a really long time, so bear with me throughout this video to see how things go as I get back into the groove of things. But I am very excited about this video, so let's just delve into this. This will contain spoilers for the first two movies, of course, but I also think I mentioned spoilers for all three of the main books, so that's there as well. Be aware before you continue watching, but I hope you enjoy. Hi, so I haven't done a come watch with me in ages, so I don't know how well this is gonna go. But I recently read the Hunger Games trilogy for the first time, so I thought it'd be fun to also watch the movies for the first time. The four movies, not three. I generally don't understand why they split Mockingjay in two, besides the fact that was just the trend of the time. I also have never seen the movies, which might be more shocking to people than the fact that I just haven't read the books. I generally haven't seen the movies. So I'm curious. I have the Hunger Games here right now. I have nothing really to do except just sit back and enjoy. I also haven't really watched a movie in a while, so that's also going to be interesting. Anyway, I'm just going to press play and you're going to see some of my reactions. Hopefully it will be entertaining. I don't know, we'll see. It's interesting that they start with like the explanation of what the games is. Oh, that's a contrast. Yeah, ready. I love Katniss's relationship with that cat. That is true. Jeez. We've come across our first big change in the books, and I really don't like this one. Like, the Mockingjay pen is something so meaningful, and for it to instead be something she just like randomly stumbles upon rather than like a gift given to her by a friend that also has a history behind it, I don't know, it doesn't work the same for me. The way that this movie is making me cry just as quickly as that first book did. Oh god, this is gonna be rough. Oh, that's cool. Oh, Jesus. And 3 and 4. How did you do that? That instant silence is good. Thank you. Good consideration. Nippo. I love how they made, like, the way they translated those outfits on fire to screen. I feel it could have been not that great. Like, it's difficult to pull off, right? But I think they pull it up so well. Like, it looks so good. Oh, here we go. Peter just looks like he's on a talk show. It technically he is.
I can sell the star-crossed lovers from District 12. You're not star-crossed lovers. It's a television show. And being in love with that boy might just get you sponsors, which could save your damn life.
You know, this is a change I like, that this conversation is happening in front of Peter. Because that's something I didn't like in the book. That he was basically blindsided by this whole thing, that they were gonna play it up for cameras. So I like that this conversation is being held in front of him. So like, you know, he might not be clued into just everything or just how much Katniss might be like pretending like she's playing it, because in reality she isn't playing it up a lot of the time. But he might be like a bit naive to just how much is pretending and is not, because ultimately, again, Katniss isn't like, if she thinks she's pretending, she isn't always, if that makes sense. So, but I like that he isn't completely blindsided by the fact that she could pretend, if that makes sense. I don't know. I'm babbling. Can I just say that for this like first couple of seconds of the games, I really enjoyed how, like, I really liked how this movie manages to show just how brutal it already is, these games, and how like those first few seconds are truly a bloodbath, like Hamish mentioned earlier, without being like too gory or like showy. I don't know. I like that. I like that it manages to show you just how extreme and brutal and horrific it is without being gory, if that makes sense. I feel like, and maybe that, like, I feel like nowadays it often can feel like you need to show all the guts, all the gore, all the blood for it to be taken as some, like, being seen as something horrific. And I feel like that scene did a great job at just being very, very horrific without being bloody, gory, gutsy. I mean, there was a bit of blood, but you know what I mean? I like that. Considering I how the show would struggle with dehydration. That's gonna take a really long time. Ooh, it's such a cutie. This is gonna hurt. Like, it's gonna hurt really badly. I don't want it. I'm not gonna lie. I hate that that doesn't come from Rue anymore. Like, the melody, like, it meant a lot that that came from Rue, in my opinion. The fact that it's now Katniss's thing, like, she invented, like, Rue still came up with the idea to use Mockingjays, but it was Katniss's melody. I don't know. I prefer it, but I don't know. I feel like makes it a little bit less impactful that it isn't Rue's melody, if that makes sense. I'm nitpicking. I always say like that's the most brutal way to kill someone. Just like snap their neck.
Attention tributes, attention. The regulations requiring a single victor have been suspended. From now on, 2 victors may be crowned if both originate from the same district. This will be the only announcement.
The introduction of this rule in the movie is very different. Not very different. It's like the way it's announced is the same, I think. But just seeing kind of the more behind the scenes of the games, I guess, I feel like it gives way different implications than it does in a book. Like, just a thing that I thought while reading Catching Fire, actually, when they announced that the next Weeping is all victors. I honestly like resaw this moment as like a guarantee to make Katniss win, so they'd have two victors for District 12. And to see kind of that more different background behind it is interesting because that's just how I interpreted this whole thing always. So it's kind of interesting that then the movie gives like a completely different turn on it. Although this different turn does immediately position Katniss as kind of a head figure for the rebellion in a way, well, that isn't done until Catching Fire in the books. So I also think that's interesting. Oh shit! Amazing camouflage. Amazing. They're really bad at aiming these.
So much better. Oh my god. I can really think. We could go home. We could. With all the team left. We could go home. We don't press to go. Ladies and gentlemen, may I present the winners of the 74th Annual Hunger Games.
Are they gonna show his execution? They kinda kill him with those berries? In the book, we never got details on the game. What is it? Game makers? I don't think we got details on his execution, just that he got executed. To do that with the nightshade that Katniss and Peter were gonna kill themselves with. Brutal. Oh my god. That's not Taylor's version, babe. Okay, so that was The Hunger Games, the movie. I like that less than the book. I do have to say that, but I thought it was a great adaptation overall, especially when it comes to like the visualization of things. I thought I was really strong in that, even if it sometimes like did things the way like differently from how I like saw it in my head, if that makes sense. I feel like still the way it brought to life the story was really well done. Overall, the way the story was adapted, I think, is also great. There are some like minor changes that I wasn't the biggest fan of, but I was like nitpicking. I talked to that throughout. But overall, something I did like was showing outside of the Hunger Games, of course, the way people view it, the commentary, and like the behind the scenes stuff with like the game makers. I thought that was really interesting. Obviously, not a thing we could get in a book, but I thought it was really well done. I especially really liked the way they utilized the commentary from the guy, I forgot his name, like with the blue hair. I'm really bad with names, but like that guy, the presenter, basically having his commentary kind of cover things that in the book we get through Katniss's inner monologue, like information about this world, and like things like the tracker jackers, what are they called? Like what they do and what they are and how they're different from like regular wasps. That sort of thing, an explanation we get in Katniss's monologue, in a monologue in a book. But of course we don't have that in the movie, so it's like replaced by the commentary for the actual games, which I thought was really interesting. Again, I liked also seeing the behind the scenes, so like the game makers and Snow. And yeah, I do, my main complaint is that the games just didn't really feel as high stakes as they did in the book. But overall, I thought it was a great adaptation, and I'm very excited to watch Catching Fire now. Hi, so my laptop is currently trying to blast off into space, so please ignore that sound. Hopefully that will be going away because we are watching Catching Fire. It's been a couple of days since I watched the Hunger Games, just because life's been really busy. I haven't had the time to watch a 2.5 hour movie, but I'm ready for it. I'm so excited. I believe from what I've seen of these movies, I believe this is like the most loved one, which is interesting because Catching Fire was my least favorite of the books. Still really enjoyed it, don't get me wrong. Still thought it was a phenomenal book, but it was like from the three, it's my least favorite. So I think it's interesting that I've just seen the most love for this movie, so I'm very excited to see it executed. Although my main complaint with the Catching Fire book is that in like that last bit of the book where we are in the games, I feel like the most interesting stuff going on outside of the games, and we don't get to see any of that. And considering that the movie, of course, will be able to show us more than just Katniss's perspective, I am hoping that maybe we get to see more of like the rebellions coming up and everything. But we'll have to see. Anyway, I'm just gonna press play. We're gonna watch it together, and I'll see you on the flip side. I actually love how they're showing Katniss's drama because obviously we're not in our head like we are in the books, so you have to do that differently. And I thought that was a great way to show her trauma from the games, in my opinion. I don't like Gail. I'm sorry. No, you didn't.
Do convince me. For the sake of your loved ones.
Here's the thing, I'm gonna just say again, comparing it to the book. But in the book, Snow just implies that she knows about her and Gil going out hunting and that there might be something more to them than just being friends. And I feel like that is way more menacing than just showing footage of them kissing because you don't know how much he knows and how he knows those things. I think that makes it much more menacing, if that makes sense. Like here it's obvious, like, oh yeah, there must have been like a camera up there that we just didn't notice because like he obviously has footage of it. But in the books it could be like he has pies, or like he's just making an educated guess, or there's cameras, or like there could be like a billion reasons how he could know. So I feel like that's way more menacing and threatening than it is in the movie.
Nice acting. Me too. Almost thought the kiss was real. The deep stuff, yeah. Like what? Like, what's your favorite color? You stepped over the line.
I love it. It seems.
Seriously, what is it? Green. What's yours? Orange. Gabby's hair? No. Not that orange. More like a sunset kind of orange. Did you see that? I just wanted to say that I didn't know Thresh. I only spoke to him once. He could have killed me, but instead he showed me mercy. That's a debt I'll never be able to repay. I did know Rue. She wasn't just my ally, she was my friend. I see her in the flowers that grow in the meadow by my house. I hear her in Mockingjay's song. I see her and my sister Prim. She was too young, too gentle. And I couldn't save her. I'm sorry.
Okay, that still made me cry. But do you get now why I thought it was way more impactful for that melody to come from Rue? Like to have that happen to her. You know, this whole scene with like her people makes more sense if the melody comes from her. That's just I know I've seen a lot like TikToks discussing the Hunger Games lately. And I know it pisses a lot of people off that the origin of the Mockingjay pin got changed. But like honestly this change is so much smaller and it pisses me off so much more. Don't really fucking don't do that. I think it's interesting that they're showing more of an uprising in the movie because I feel like in the book, it just like the District 11 scene that was basically the same, but like for the other districts, we kind of like fly over that. And Katniss does mention that there was the sense of a little current, but like nothing major happens. So I really actually like that they show that like shit is actually happening. I like that difference. I love him. Just like standing next to them and reacting. Love it.
Our entire species has to be eliminated. Our species, sir. We are the victors. Now, because of her, they all pose a threat. Because of her, they all think they're invincible. Whatever game you think you're playing, those out there are not playing it with you. There's a way we can still win. That's what we game makers like to call a wrinkle.
Okay, so now I get where like the theory comes from that the Quarter Quell team was changed. because the movie heavily implies that. I don't like the theory. Like, I mean, I like it in theory. I like the theory in theory. I like the concept of it. I definitely think that's something that the Capitol would do. But I don't know. For me, for some reason, when I read the book, my presumption was the only reason Katniss survived the 74th games is because they knew they needed a female survivor from District 12. Because District 12 was the only district with not enough remaining like living survivors. Like they only had Haymitch. They were the only district to only have one. So that's always been like my thing. Well, don't kiss more than necessary, please. We've had the 2 kisses already. I don't need another one. Can I just say, this movie, as like the movies I've done, Katniss's mom absolutely dirty, but the fact that she's the first to, like she's first, Brim is like a millisecond after that, but she's the first person to do that. It is.
Well, Katniss, I just hope when she goes quickly. She's actually a wonderful lady.
I have seen one, I say one spoiler for Sunrise on a Reaping, which made that sentence hurt so much. I forgot just how much of a sleaze Finnick is at the start of this. It's bad. These outfits always work so well. I was scared they forgot about Peter's painting because they haven't mentioned him painting at all this movie, but I'm glad they didn't. And she's back.
My love, you have my heart. All eternity. If I die in that arena, my last thought will be of your lips. But you know what?
Joanna is the best.
Right then.
She's such an icon.
Really? A wedding dress? Snowed anywhere.
Joanna's and Katniss' friendship is underrated in my opinion. Like, they are such a power duo. I love them so much. I say this every single time, but the way they translate these outfits from page to screen is absolutely masterful, like work of art. Oh, here he goes again.
Well, actually, we got married. In secret. A secret wedding. All right, do tell.
I'm not ready to hear this.
I love to be
Instead of read it.
You know, Candace and I have been luckier than most. I wouldn't have any regrets at all. If it weren't. If it weren't for what? If it weren't for the baby. All right, this is news. That's why I got wrong. Calm down. This is news to all of us.
Peter really is just like an actor. Like, I know we all call him Bread Boy, but like, that man knows how to act. I also think it's an interesting detail, like squashing rebellion kind of stuff, that in the first movie, in the hovercraft, all the tributes were transported together, while now Katniss is just with Cinna. I feel like, I don't know how purposeful of a decision that was made for the like filmmakers, but I feel like that shows like, oh, you all wanted to band together, and not now. We're separating all of you.
Good thing we're allies, right? Where do you think?
Great reveal. Can you imagine? I don't actually know how much Finnick was told about what Katniss and Peter, but can you imagine being told like, oh yeah, that whole thing, that's like a showman, that isn't real, and then that happens in front of you? Like, there's nothing fake about that interaction. sorry.
Hey, you want to see something? Look up. Look. Look at that. It's incredible, isn't it? All those colors. Don't worry about anything else.
Peter generally is too pure for this world. Oh, that came out of nowhere. Can I just say that it's wild how each of like the little sections are like generally life endangerment stuff, except this section, the Jabba Jays, which is just psychological warfare, nothing more, nothing less. It is generally just that. There's no threat to their lives or anything. It's just mental. That's insane to me. I always find it so difficult to believe that these games are basically 3 days. It's so wild.
I'm gonna go with you as a guard. No. You're staying here to protect me. And the tree. No, I need to go with her. There are 2 careers out there. I need 2 guards. Finnick can protect you just fine on his own. Yeah, why can't Finnick and Joanna stay with you and Peter and I'll take the coil? You all agreed to keep me alive to win that, correct? It's his plan. We all agreed to it. Is there a problem here?
Can I just say, this bugs me that in the first movie they kind of forgot to make Peter an amputee, because it would make a lot more sense. Like, it makes more sense in the books why Peter is not going with Katniss to like uncoil the thing, because you know he is physically impaired. But oh well. Now they have to come up with bullshit reasons for him to not be together with Katniss because he isn't an amputee anymore.
Let it fly, Miss Everdeen. Let it fly.
Oh, this is some good shit.
Katniss. Remember who the real enemy is.
That's what Hangman said.
Katniss, get away from that tree.
Come on, Katniss, finish this.
Katniss, get away from that tree.
Fuck yes.
It's not possible. Heavens be! To talk, heavens be!
He's gone. He's gone, bitch.
You have been our mission from the beginning. The plan was always to get you out. Half the tributes were in on it. This is the revolution. And you're the Mockingjay.
Can I just say that this movie makes this reveal much more out of left field. Like, by getting more of like the behind the scenes of the games and like being as head of Katniss's perspective, you see him just like make moves that don't really make a lot of sense. If you think about it too hard, he's like undercover basically, and those like kind of like decisions that we don't necessarily see his involvement in the book, but now you do, and it's odd. Plus, like the one giveaway of the Mockingjay clock, like the Mockingjay watch, we didn't have that in the movie. So like that's like the one clue we are given in the book that Plutarch is on our side before, you know, the reveal happens. That's gone. And instead we see him make way more decisions technically against rebellion. So it makes this come completely out of left field. I think that's interesting.
You're not in 12? No, it's not District 12. It's all gone.
That line, Suzanne Collins has to be proud of herself for that line. Like, damn. Oh? That's cool. I would change of position. It's really well done. Okay, so that was Catching Fire. Loved it. Totally got why Amsila was hyped for this. Damn, this was so good. And actually didn't fix my issue with the book, which is strange because we barely got anything outside of the games as well in this. We did get a couple of scenes, but like not as much as in the first one. Definitely didn't show the rebellion as much as I was thinking it would. But brilliant. Besides just like thinking the more interesting stuff was going on like outside of what we were seeing in that last bit of Catching Fire, like once we enter the games, I also feel like once we enter the games, like the momentum gets killed and like the stakes are gone. Not the case with the movie. Like, oh my god, these games felt so high stakes, much more so than in the book. And I also feel like the pacing just was a bit more quick, and that really just like kept you on the edge of your seat for it. and I really like that. I do have some issues with changes made, which are like very which is very much nitpicking, even more so than like the first movie. I generally think overall the changes made specifically for this movie actually enhanced the story much more, and I really, really loved it. So yeah, that was everything I have to say about The Hunger Games and Catching Fire. Really, really enjoyed my time with these movies. I generally can't believe I haven't seen them until now, and I'm very, very excited to watch Mockingjay. But if you want to know my thoughts on Mockingjay Part 1 and 2, you'll have to wait till, I believe, next Sunday. I'm gonna give myself an entire week to watch those two. But yeah, you'll just subscribe, stick around, you'll figure it out, and you'll be able to watch that as well. And then hopefully I'll see you next time.
Here I am again, the same old situation. Why does the God thing have to be so complicated? Should've played